guess it's there. Okay, so yeah, remember it was a really big deal who he chose. He already messed up twice. He wrote this to Robert Patterson. If we have got a person perfectly skilled in botany, natural history, mineralogy, and astronomy, with at the same time the necessary firmness of body and mind, habits of living in the woods, and familiarity with the Indian character, it would have been better. But I know of no such character who would undertake an enterprise so perilous. To all the latter qualities, Captain Lewis joins a great stock of accurate observation on the subjects of the three kingdoms, animal, vegetable, and mineral, found in our country, but not according to their scientific nomenclatures. But he will be able to seize for examination and description such things only as he shall meet with new. He has also been for some time qualifying himself for taking observations of longitude and latitude to fix geographical points on the line he will pass over. Okay, so that was also very important that he was able to actually document the route. It's not any good if he found a way there and was not able to make a map to show the way that he found. So he had to be able to make maps, which he was working on. Okay. So then we talked about how he wrote a letter to William Clark because he realized that was the person that he wanted to go with him. Okay. And this is a comic version of that letter because the letter that he was writing, okay, he wrote it in June, like June 12th or something like that. And he sent it to Clark's family. Clark didn't get it. He was gone. He was away for that month. And so Lewis is just waiting for a reply, waiting for a reply. Remember, he can't call anybody. He's waiting for a letter in the mail, like every day, not getting a thing. So he's really nervous. He's still making all of his plans without knowing if William Clark is going to join him. Only a month later did William Clark respond. And I'll read you his letter in a moment. But in the meantime, I'd like you to read this correspondence with somebody next to you. And this is the correspondence that between the two of them, Lewis and Clark. Sure. Can I read it? Need a highlighter? Why don't you find someone here? Everybody goes.
I can read in cursive. What does this word say?
Oh, wait, can you guys read this as in cursive?
No.
Yes. Okay, if you want to read it with your partner, that's fine. If you want to read it with me, come over here.
What? I can read partly cursive.
All right, guys. So you can follow along as I read.
Wait, I can read
All right, here we go. Dear Lieutenant Clark, it is with great humility that I ask you to accompany me to find the water route to the west. Should you agree, I hope that you will help me to find soldiers appropriate and worthy of the task. Yours, Meriwether Lewis.
Okay, I'll read this.
Dear Captain, this is Clark writing. I accept your offer without hesitation.
William Clark.
Back again. Dear Captain Clark, I have arranged to have you recommissioned as a captain, sharing with me the command of this expedition. Signed. Dear Captain Lewis, I will shortly be leaving Indian Territory with a complement of the strongest, stoutest woodsmen this country has to offer. William Clark. Dear Captain Clark, remember to emphasize the scientific nature of our enterprise. Our British, French, and Spanish neighbors may suspect that we have intentions upon their beaver hunting grounds. Dear Captain Lewis, sounds as though little has changed since we served in the Ohio campaign. Count me as the most faithful addition to this endeavor. William. Hands up here, please. This is the actual letter, a copy of what it looked like that William Clark wrote back to Lewis. So this is his handwriting, and as you can see, it looks like it's really difficult to read, and that's because they would write on like parchment paper that was kind of see-through, and so you would write on one side, and then when you go to write on the other side, you can actually see through the paper, so it's even more difficult to read than you would already think it would be based on just the handwriting.
Did he write with marker?
No, it's quill pen. So it's like these pens
that uses ink.
It's like these pens. You take a
dash it.
and they're sharp.
And then there's like a bottle of ink next to it.
Yeah, so you cut this in a certain direction, and the thing that's with the reason that it works is because this is hollow. Okay, and so if you cut it at just the right angle and you dip it into ink, it like sucks up some of the ink and holds on to some of it. So that way you can actually write with it. So you have to dip every so often.
Yeah, I've seen that in movies.
You have, yeah. And so that's why when you look at some of the writing, some of it is darker in spaces because they might have just recently dipped.
Oh.
And especially with some of the shapes that you make, it would show more ink.
Yeah, don't you have one?
No, I just fake these.
Yeah.
I put the ballpoint pen on the other side.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Did you get it from the book?
Yes, this is a book that Ava was letting me borrow. She brought it on the first week of school.
There's like tiny words in the back that show like what the letters are.
Exactly what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of little things in here. So this is like what actual parchment paper looks like. You can see that it's see-through.
It's like it's wax paper.
Kind of, but it's not really waxing.
This
This is the letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to Meriwether Lewis. And this is, sorry?
And he has much better
This is a little bit easier to read.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So this,
I didn't see.
I will try to read it. Dear sir, in the journey which you are about to undertake for the discovery of the course and source of the Missouri and of the most convenient water communication from thence to the Pacific Ocean, your party being small, it is to be expected that you will encounter considerable dangers from the Indian inhabitants. Okay? So anyway, it goes on. And this is basically a letter saying that Meriwether Lewis has the government's rights to make any decisions that he feels necessary while on the journey. That is unheard of, okay? You are not given rights to make decisions for your country. But he knew that Meriwether Lewis and his crew were going to be out exploring with no way to communicate with the president or with anybody else in charge. That's why he was entrusting Lewis to make those decisions. If he needed to make a decision out there, this letter gives him the right to do that. So he took that with him, just in case he had any problems along the way. Okay? This thing is full of a lot of different things. There's a letter in here that Meriwether Lewis wrote to his mother. His mother was very worried about him and didn't really love the fact that he was taking this journey.
I read that one.
Oh, you did? Okay, so what I would like you to do, I have some more things to tell you about Lewis because he's such an interesting character, but I think that's a good enough introduction for you guys to start doing some research on your own. Okay? So what I would like to do is split you in half. Half of you will be studying Meriwether Lewis. Half of you will be studying William Clark. Okay? So your task on that, on this assignment, we have two different biographies here. Okay? One of them is easier, one of them is harder. Okay? So you can just look at whichever one you like and decide which one you would like to read. If you know that you're doing Clark, you can come up here and look and say, this one seems easier for me to read, or this one seems easier for me to read. Okay? You can read both. That doesn't matter. Okay? Same thing with Lewis. Okay? And you are recording everything that we want to know about these characters. What makes them, I want you to have in mind, what makes them good candidates for such a journey. Okay? What will make them good candidates? And also, like what kind of people are they in general, and those things will probably go together. Yes, Mike?
Could we highlight some stuff?
Yes, I got highlighters out. I definitely want you using your highlighting skills. And your overall goal will be to fill out one of these on your own. Okay? I've given you some practice already. Thank you so
That's your
much.
updated list.
Yes.
So you fill the other one out,
Great.
and then these just file,
Put them in there.
put those in
Thank
there.
you. Best secretary ever, right there,
Oh,
Miss Ann.
thank you.
You were going to attempt to fill this out on your own. And use the ones that we've already done as models. Okay, I've already modeled kind of what I'm looking for. How you can come up with great words to describe the person around the portrait. On the biographies, you actually have portraits that you can mimic and draw here. Okay, you should be able to find all this information. You might read both biographies, and you might still not know who his friends are or enemies are, and that's okay. Those are questions that you can bring to the table that we can discuss and find supplemental information to help you with that. Yeah, Claire.
Well, you know that if you're doing Lewis or Clark, you know that they're from each other. Yeah.
Demetria, let's look at the people that are talking.
For Clark, for Lewis, you know that two of his friends, Thomas Jefferson and Clark.
That's true. It might be harder to find our enemies. Yes, Gracie?
Are we going to do it with a partner?
You can do this with a partner. Okay? So you can definitely do this with a partner. Do you have to? No, you do not have to. If somebody asks you to be your partner, one of the reasons that they might be asking you is because they're having a hard time reading the biography. Okay? So you could offer to read it with them. That would be lovely. I would suggest that you don't even grab this at all yet. You might not even need this in this session.
Enemies. Spanish. Maybe the Spanish are secretly in there.
Yeah, so that might be one. And also Meriwether Lewis. How about that guy that challenged him to a duel? I bet he's his enemy. So you might just grab a reading and a highlighter and try to figure out as much as you can about these characters during this time. Okay, are there any questions about what you are challenged to do?
It was there.
Yeah, Annabelle?
So you can put the little
Yeah.
And do you have to color when you do it?
Yeah. That's work, okay? So the point, so half of you doing Lewis, half of you doing Clark, you want to know enough about these characters that that next week you're going to teach somebody about the other person. Okay? So Dimitri, if he's doing Clark, and he has this all filled out, fine, Lewis, and he meets with Jesse next week, he is going to be Jesse's teacher. He's not going to say, here Jesse, I studied Lewis, here, just copy it down. Jesse's gonna sit there with his empty, and Dimitri's gonna teach him all about Lewis. Did you know that when Lewis was 15 years old, he, whatever, I don't know, okay? And then Jesse would have an idea of what he could put maybe on the graphic novel because he's learning from Dimitri. So you need to be an expert on this person, not just enough to fill this out, but you want to know about as much as possible about that person. Yes?
You should write notes down for the graphic novel.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you can mark this up however you want. Maybe you're highlighting and you make notes on the side or on the back or, yeah. Okay? All right. So I would like you to make a choice on who you would like, and let's see if that works out half and half, okay? So if you would rather do William Clark, will you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in order for it to work out, I need 3 or 4 more people.
8.
Did you get those 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, great. All of those people can grab William Clark. Now, remember there are 2 different ones here. Okay, so look at them both. Meriwether Lewis's. Let's come over here and you can grab which one you would like.